安心しました。これは会話でよく使えますよね。Hi everyone, it's Scott here from That's English School. 今回はですね、安心というテーマにしました。文化の違いかどうかよくわからないのですが、日本人の使い回数が多いような気がする。英語と比べるとですね。英語のネイティブスピーカーが全く言わないわけでもないけど、とりあえず、I was relieved と、安心しました。なんでしょうかね。使うタイミングがちょっとずれてるっていうのかな。あと、言葉の重さが若干違いますね。どちらかというと、日本語の安心しましたが、軽く使ってもいいし、結構重い話の時でも使えますよね。いろいろありますよね。安心感があるとか、安心してくださいとかですね。英語の場合はですね、I felt relieved が割と重い話の時にしか使わないような気がしますね。例えばね、インフルエンザの予防接種を受けました。安心しました。ほっとしましたと言いますよね。こんな時に I felt relieved というとですね、なんか違うなといつも思ってます。So let's nip this one in the bud and take your English up a notch, one step at a time. Here is the lesson lineup. Part 1, when do we use relief? So, as I said in the introduction, I feel the expression 安心する is used in a pretty wide range of situations in Japanese. The most common translation is to feel relieved. That's all well and good in my book. I feel it's an accurate translation. But I often feel it's used inappropriately by Japanese people speaking English. It's not the best choice for every single situation. Alright, so when do we use it? In a situation like this. I took a Japanese test last month and my test results have finally arrived. Oh, I studied so hard. My hands are shaking, look. I passed. I'm so relieved. From that scene, we can see that it's actually a pretty stressful thing. So stressful that it made my hands shake. So, what other kinds of situations can we use relief? When you hear your medical results. When you drop your computer, but it doesn't break. When your plane lands safely in strong winds. When you remember the documents for a big meeting. When your partner says yes. Those are all pretty stressful situations, and we can all breathe out a collective sigh of relief. Life doesn't get any easier living on this desert island. But I did find these fruit. I found them in a tree just over there. They look like they're full of vitamin C. I gave a big sigh of relief when I found them. Oh, I need some vitamins, you know. Should we try some? Something's not right. Not them as well. Part 2, a real life example. So, as I have said, I always feel that when Japanese people use the word relief in English, it can sound overly dramatic. A good example of this is when we have Parents' Week in our school for our kids' lessons. The parents watch their child's lesson and fill out a sheet with their comments, observations, and requests about the lesson. It's incredible feedback for us. Most of the time, the comments are in Japanese, so our counseling staff translate them into English for our instructors. One of the most common phrases used is 安心しました. So when our staff translate this into English, they often say, I was very relieved to see that my son's English is progressing well. When a native speaker hears that, it makes them concerned. What? So before the lesson, this parent was really worried that their child wasn't getting a good lesson every week? But in Japanese, they probably don't mean anything quite so heavy or serious. But in English, it just sounds that way. So, what should we say? I've got some more appropriate expressions coming up in the next section. Just the other week, I was operating the big crane. Yeah, that one over there. And wait a minute. Hey, John, what time do you call this? Come on, get back to work. God, I'm surrounded by nincompoops. So I was operating the crane and a fly got into the cab. Oh, I can't stand flies. So I was trying to hit it like this, you know, and I accidentally hit the release button. The big pile of wood went bang, and it went right on top of a car. Luckily, nobody was hurt, but I nearly peed my pants. What a relief, I tell you. Okay, come on, let's go. Part 3, heavy version versus lighter version. I want to give you different ways to talk about the same thing. But I want to give you a serious version and a more casual, not so stressed out version. What a relief! You came back from Disneyland in one piece. I'm so happy that you made it back from Disneyland in one piece. So in one piece means to come home safely. You could use this expression when your junior high school daughter or son goes to Disneyland without you. They come back in one piece. It's always a great relief when my dentist tells me I have no cavities. It's always great to hear when my dentist tells me I have no cavities. Cavities are bad teeth which need fixing. It came as a relief when my husband said he wasn't being transferred to China for 4 years. It made me feel a bit easier when my husband said he wasn't being transferred to China for 4 years. To be transferred to means that you have to change your work location from one place to another place. I was so relieved to hear that my grandmother enjoyed her first day at the adult daycare center. I could get on with my day when I heard that my grandmother enjoyed her first day at the adult daycare center. An adult daycare center is a place for older people to go for one day, and they can have lunch and maybe they can have a bath and sing some songs, play some games with people in the same situation. An adult daycare center. I gave a sigh of relief when I found out that our new neighbors are actually really nice people. I felt better when I found out that our new neighbors are actually really nice people. So a sigh of relief is when you do this. A sigh of relief. So let's review those phrases. Feel free to take a screenshot. So I was at the doctor, about that rash I was telling you about. And it turns out it's just a house dust allergy. Oh, I felt so much better when I heard that. Yes. Oh, here comes trouble. Hello, thank you for calling customer service. This is Bradley speaking. How may I help you? Yes, madam. You want to return the pajamas? Uh-huh. Okay, did you sleep in them? No. Okay, that's great. That's great. Yes, you can return them. That should be no problem at all. You're jumping for joy. That's great. Okay, we do aim to please. Yes, if you just give me your order number. 345, yeah, And your name? Mrs. Jones. Okay, Mrs. Jones. That's great. Okay, Part 4, super heavy version. So in extreme cases, the word relief is used when talking about medical issues such as pain relief and relief from pain. In my examples, I'm going to use cancer. So for such a serious disease, we need some pretty serious expressions. It was a load off my mind when I was told the cancer had completely gone. So if something is a load off your mind, it means you are thinking about it day in and day out, and now that you know the truth, this load has been taken away. I felt like a great load had been taken off my shoulders when the doctors told me the cancer was operable. If something is operable, it means you can have an operation to remove the cancer from your body. I breathed a huge sigh of relief when the doctor told me the cancer screening tests had come back negative. When you're talking about medical tests, negative, of course, is a good thing. If the test is positive, it's a bad thing. It kind of doesn't make sense when you think about it, but negative is good, positive is bad. I felt such an intense sense of relief when the doctor told me the chemotherapy seemed to be working. Chemotherapy is the special therapy you get when you have cancer to try and kill the cancer cells. Chemotherapy. I wanted to jump for joy when I heard that the cancer hadn't spread to any of the other organs in my body. So an organ is, for example, your liver or your kidney or your lungs. Those are called organs. Let's review the key points. And of course, feel free to take a screenshot. It's homework time. Okay, I'm going to give you a Japanese sentence and I want you to change it into some beautiful English, okay? But don't use the word relief or even relieved, okay? Try and use one of the other expressions which I talked about today in this video, okay? So the sentence is this. それを聞いて安心しました。Okay? コメント欄のところに答えを入れて後でチェックしますので、okay? 必ずチェックしますよ。あとは何か聞きたいことがありましたらね、それもコメント欄のところに何でも聞いてくださいね。Okay, good luck! Do you feel that you make a lot of little mistakes in English, but you don't know how to fix them? Well, this is the Eigo Kenkyu Project playlist. There are lots of videos on there which help you find out what are the small mistakes that you've been making. It's full of detailed points and it's great to take your English to the next level. Okay, so I'll see you over there. Let's go!